already know what it is. You already know what it is. It's the takeover. The takeover has already happened. Worldwide CC. Worldwide CC, Caitlin Clark taking over all sports. All sports want in on the Caitlin Clark business. It is so unfortunate that the WNBA has dropped the ball in this major way.
The WNBA is in full-blown panic. Caitlin Clark and the entire Indiana Fever have just made the most shocking move in women's basketball history. They're heading to Europe. Fans across Greece and France are already chanting her name, wearing her merch, and calling her the face of women's sports.
Let's head over to Europe. How about this? How about this? Caitlin Clark jersey spotted in the Greece versus France Eurobasket game. They wearing the Caitlin Clark Iowa jerseys in Greece versus France. This is international stardom, worldwide stardom.
But back home, chaos, panic, fear, because this could be the end of the WNBA as we know it. So how did we get here? What pushed Caitlin Clark, the league's biggest star, to walk away from the very organization she helped save? After months of fouls, drama, and disrespect, Caitlin Clark has finally had enough. For months, she's been the punching bag of the WNBA, the player everyone targets, the one refs refuse to protect, the one commentators turn cold on the second she hits a logo, 3. And yet, she's the only reason millions of new fans tuned in. She sold out arenas, broke records, and made people care about women's basketball again. But instead of celebrating her, the league treated her like an outsider. Every game felt like a battle, not just against opponents, but against the system itself. Then came the moment that changed everything. Caitlin sat down for an interview with Ariel Powers.
Caitlin Clark was on Ariel Powers' blog. We gotta take a look at some of the things she had to say about the Indiana Fever organization, the higher-ups, the whole situation, the new players included. There was a lot that was said. We've been wondering, how does she really feel about like all of these new people coming in, the decision makers, all of this stuff. They discussed some of these things in Ariel Powers' blog.
And for the first time, she didn't hold back. She didn't whisper. She roared. And in that moment, fans knew something was about to explode. She looked straight into the camera and said 7 words that broke the internet. "I just want to play basketball, not politics." That one line set the internet on fire, because it wasn't just a quote, it was a message. She wasn't angry, she wasn't bitter, she was done. Done being controlled, done being disrespected, done being treated like a problem for bringing too much attention to the league. And then came the leak. Reports start circulating that Caitlin Clark isn't just stepping away, she's leaving, and she's taking the entire Indiana Fever with her, but not to retire, and not for a vacation. They're reportedly heading to Europe for a movement.
And it is the league, the Essential Travel League. I don't know what it's going to be called. It looks like they're going to be having 7 2-week tours. I would assume, my guess would be, they play East Coast America, they play West Coast America, they start getting out arenas. I'd say they play East Coast, West Coast, break for a few weeks. Because again, it's only 14 weeks in, which is just over 3 months, and they have 6 months to do it. So they're gonna have equally as much time off.
The news spreads like wildfire. Social media explodes. ESPN stays quiet. But fans, they're screaming. Caitlin's leaving? The Fever are done with the WNBA? And here's the kicker. Sources say Caitlin has been training with Major League Baseball coaches for weeks. A new crossover partnership is forming. Baseball meets basketball. America meets Europe. And at the center of it all, Caitlin Clark. When she lands in Europe, the footage is unbelievable. Streets packed, fans in Greece and France waving Caitlin Clark flags, kids painting her initials, CC, on their faces, entire arenas filled with people chanting her name. She's not just an athlete anymore. She's a movement, a symbol of change. Clips go viral instantly. Fans in Paris, Athens, and Madrid wearing her jersey, people holding up signs that say, "We love you, Caitlin." The hashtag #CCRevolution starts trending worldwide. Meanwhile, back home, WNBA executives are in meltdown mode. Sponsors are calling non-stop. Networks are panicking. Because without Caitlin Clark, there are no record crowds, no viral highlights, no national buzz. The league's golden ticket has just walked out the door, and they have no idea how to stop her. And if that wasn't bad enough, the league's biggest moment of the year, the finals, turns into a PR disaster. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert walks on stage to hand A'ja Wilson the trophy, but instead of cheers, the arena erupts in boos. Fans weren't angry at A'ja. They were furious at the system, furious at how the league treated Caitlin, furious that ESPN tried to blur the crowd reaction like no one would notice. But the internet noticed. Millions of people saw it, and they were not happy.
Believe it or not, the chorus of boos last night were not directed at the Phoenix Mercury. For those that don't know, Phoenix lost last night to the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces. And congratulations to A'ja Wilson, who is now a 3-time WNBA champion. She is a 2-time winner of the Golden Toilet, and A'ja Wilson is now the inaugural winner of the Platinum Pooper.
Then Fever head coach Stephanie White breaks her silence, and her words hit harder than anything the WNBA expected.
And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right?
She says, the WNBA forgot who built this league, the players and the fans. That quote detonates online. Fans flood the comments. You didn't deserve her. You killed your own superstar. This league pushed her away. Within hours, hashtags like "You pushed her away" and "CC Nation" are trending everywhere. The WNBA's response? A short, robotic statement. We thank the Indiana Fever for their contribution to the league. That's it. No emotion, no accountability, just words on paper. And that silence spoke volumes, because deep down, everyone knew what had just happened. The league that needed Caitlin Clark had lost her. Meanwhile, Caitlin's dominance in Europe only grows. She's spotted courtside at Eurobasket games. European fans chant "CC, CC" every time her face flashes on the screen. Baseball teams invite her to throw ceremonial pitches. Kids across the continent wear her number. And the media can't get enough. Newspapers in Paris, Athens, and Madrid plaster her photo across their front pages. What started as a rebellion has turned into a revolution. Even MLB stars are calling her the face of sports. And honestly, they might be right. Caitlin Clark didn't just leave basketball. She expanded it. She broke out of the WNBA's walls and took the sport global. She turned hate into history, disrespect into domination. And every moment of silence she endured, she turned into a roar heard around the world. Now she's on magazine covers. She's the headline in every major sports outlet. ESPN can try to downplay her story, but fans don't need the network anymore. They've got Caitlin Clark Nation. Back in the States, WNBA attendance is already dipping. Ratings have taken a hit. And even longtime fans are saying they're done with the league. Because when you push away the player who saved your brand, don't be surprised when the fans follow her. Caitlin's story isn't about leaving, it's about evolving. She's proving that greatness doesn't wait for permission. When doors close, she builds her own arena. When leagues turn their backs, she builds her own stage. And that's exactly what the WNBA failed to understand. They thought they could control her, but Caitlin Clark doesn't play by anyone's rules. She writes them. And as the world watches her rise, one question remains. Is this the end of the WNBA or the beginning of something legendary? If you stand with Caitlin Clark, Drop CC Nation in the comments below. Smash that like button if you're proud of what she's building. And make sure you subscribe, because Caitlin's story is far from over. In fact, it's just beginning.
But look at how long. 5-time, 7-time All-Star. She been in the league 7 years? Bro, how come ain't nobody know about A'ja Wilson until Caitlin got here? I'm just saying. If A'ja Wilson was this damn good, this dynamic of a player, why come the viewership is the way it is? Now, why come we didn't know about A'ja Wilson 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago?
A'ja Wilson is furious. The EuroLeague just dropped a bombshell report claiming Caitlin Clark is worth 10 times more than any other WNBA player, and it's got the basketball world spinning. Sponsors overseas are calling Clark a billion-dollar engine for women's hoops, while the league's own MVP is left wondering how she got pushed to the sidelines. Clark's value isn't just shocking, it's humiliating for everyone who thought the WNBA was the top of the mountain.
People comparing A'ja Wilson to Bill Russell, and bro, if the Indiana Fever had Caitlin Clark, hell, not even Caitlin, had Kelsey Mitchell not got hurt, I believe the Indiana Fever would have beaten the Las Vegas Aces. Tell the whole story. Like, don't get up here trying to sit up here like this is a dynasty of a damn team and all this and that because they went on their little winning streak. I don't want to hear none of that shit. If the Fever was the Fever originally, the Las Vegas Aces would not have a championship. They stole this one. This is the last one they're going to get for a mighty long time.
But how did a rookie from Iowa turn into a global cash machine? And why did it make A'ja Wilson snap? The EuroLeague report didn't just compare salaries, it compared power. And when the numbers came out, it exposed a massive truth that the WNBA has been trying to hide for months. Caitlin Clark isn't just the most valuable rookie, she's the entire brand. While A'ja Wilson dominates the court, Caitlin Clark dominates the world. Her name alone moves millions. Jersey sales, sponsorships, ticket prices, everything connected to Clark turns into money.
TV ratings are up 300% since Caitlin Clark entered the league. Her games averaged 1.2 million viewers. Her return game peaked at 2.8 million viewers on ABC, one of the highest ever. This is in the middle of a random game in the season. She's featured nearly half of the most watched WNBA games, period. And I would argue that she brought a lot of attention to the league in and of itself, not just her. Clark is responsible for 26% of all WNBA economic activity. She's expected to help drive $875 million to $1 billion in 2025 revenue. The Fever's franchise value jumped from $900 million to $340 million. Oh my God, they need to pay this girl.
The report said her EuroLeague market value could exceed $10 million a year, with global brands lining up to attach their logos to her name. And that's when A'ja Wilson lost it. Because here's the thing, A'ja's not just any player. She's the reigning MVP, a champion, a defensive monster, and one of the faces that built the modern WNBA. She's worked for years to earn respect.
This dynamic of a player, why come the viewership is the way it is? Now, why come we didn't know about A'ja Wilson 7 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago? Why come we ain't know about her then? Why we ain't know about A'ja Wilson then, bro? I don't want to hear none of that. If it wasn't for Caitlin Clark, would nobody care about A'ja Wilson, bro? Would nobody care, bro?
Yet somehow, a rookie came in, played one season, and suddenly became the league's financial messiah. The timing couldn't have been worse. Nike had already signed Caitlin to that record-breaking $28 million deal, the biggest endorsement in women's basketball history. But what happened after? Nothing. No commercials, no merch drop, no signature shoe, just silence. And that silence turned into noise. People started to ask, what's going on? Why would Nike give Clark that kind of money and then completely ghost her? Rumors started flying. Some said Nike was terrified, scared of backlash if they gave a white rookie her own shoe before A'ja Wilson. their longtime athlete and reigning MVP. That's when Asia posted her infamous line, not directly aimed at Clark, but everyone knew what she meant. She basically said, "What's delayed isn't denied." Translation, she was tired of being overlooked. And that one post lit social media on fire. Suddenly, everyone had an opinion. Half the internet said Clark's popularity was good for the game. The other half said it was corporate favoritism, a reflection of who the media chooses to hype. But underneath the drama, there was a deeper issue nobody wanted to say out loud: race, marketability, and what sells in women's sports. Commentators started revisiting old history. How Nike once gave Sheryl Swoops the first ever women's signature shoe back in the 90s, a huge step for representation. But since then, nearly every woman to get her own line had been white. So when Nike crowned Clark before honoring Asia, it didn't feel like progress. It felt like déjà vu. Then came the twist. Leaked reports claimed Nike was delaying Clark's signature shoe until 2026. The reason? Optics. They supposedly didn't want to anger fans by putting Clark's line out before Wilson's. That rumor hit like a bomb, because if it was true, it meant Nike had created a mess so big they were paralyzed, caught between two of their own stars. Meanwhile, the EuroLeague didn't care about optics. They saw dollar signs. Clark's international fame was exploding. Her highlights were trending in Europe. Her name was selling out arenas across the US, and fans overseas were literally begging their teams to sign her for the offseason. And that's when Asia's frustration hit its breaking point. She'd just led her team to another dominant season, but the world only wanted to talk about Caitlin Clark. Every headline, every debate show, every sponsorship conversation came back to her. Asia's fans started pushing back, saying she deserved the same treatment. They argued she is the WNBA's foundation, not the rookie, that she's earned her place through sweat and championships, not media hype. But that argument didn't change the numbers. Caitlin Clark was pulling in more global attention than the entire league combined. The EuroLeague report confirmed it. Her sponsorship reach, her fan engagement, and her ability to sell tickets dwarfed everyone else. That's why this story blew up. Because it wasn't just about two players. It was about what defines value in sports: proven dominance or commercial impact. And while Asia Wilson saw a rookie skipping the line, the world saw something else: the first true global superstar of women's basketball. Then everything flipped overnight. After months of silence and speculation, Nike finally broke the tension, announcing that Asia Wilson would be getting her own signature shoe, the A1, set for release in 2025. Fans went wild, but then came the twist that nobody saw coming. Asia had known about the deal for 2 years. She'd been under a non-disclosure agreement the whole time. So while fans were out here fighting her battles on social media, defending her against Nike, and calling for justice, Asia already knew she had her own shoe in the works. That revelation changed everything. It meant the feud, the jealousy, the outrage, all of it had been amplified by rumor and timing. Nike wasn't ignoring her. They were playing the long game. But by then, it didn't matter. The world had already decided whose story they cared about: Caitlin Clark's. Because while Nike was quietly handling contracts, Clark was actively rewriting history. She wasn't just selling jerseys. She was selling out entire NBA arenas. Every game she touched turned into a national event. Broadcasters couldn't stop talking about her. Overseas leagues started calling, and the EuroLeague, the same one that called her a $10 million player, is reportedly ready to make a move to bring her across the ocean. So when Asia's shoe deal finally became public, it didn't land like a victory. It felt like a consolation prize. Because no matter what Nike or the WNBA did next, the narrative was already set. Caitlin Clark isn't chasing anyone. The world is chasing her. And that's the part that stings. Because for Asia, this was never about money. It was about respect. She'd built her career.
And it looked like the WNBA has become the laughingstock of all sports, man, because the ticket prices are horrendous. This is a championship game, dog. The Las Vegas Aces versus the Phoenix Mercury. And I'm telling you right now, this is probably going to be one of the lowest rated WNBA finals in a mighty long time.
After Game 2 of the WNBA Finals, Asia Wilson just had a full-on meltdown, and somehow she's blaming Caitlin Clark for it.
Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we choose to deceive. When are numbers not what the numbers are when you see them? Oh, sure feels like there might be some funny business going on. Is there a little nasty work going on behind the scenes? A little abracadabra bewitched action? Hey, Stephanie White knows this one. Yeah, she's conjuring up ratings for the Aces and the Mercury.
The finals are falling apart, tickets are dirt cheap, and fans are walking away in disbelief. But what really caused the collapse that's humiliating the WNBA? How did the league go from record-breaking hype to $6 finals tickets and empty seats? And why is Wilson pointing the finger at Clark instead of looking in the mirror?
Now, we know the controversy that led up to this game is pretty much attached to Caitlin's name. That is the Las Vegas Aces actually knocking off Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. Well, Caitlin did not play, but we know the referees kind of had a hand in that, we should say, with kind of making sure the Las Vegas Aces was pushed to making it to the finals.
The truth is, this isn't just about one player losing her cool. It's a reflection of a league that's been lying to itself all season long. For months, the WNBA bragged about record-breaking viewership, historic growth, and a new era of women's basketball. But now that the spotlight's off Caitlin Clark, all that momentum has vanished. The WNBA Finals, supposedly the biggest event of the year, have turned into an embarrassment. The Las Vegas Aces home arena, a place that once packed in thousands for regular season games, couldn't even sell out for the finals. 2 straight games, half-empty stands, and ticket prices that looked more like fast food deals than championship seats.
It is officially Game 3 of the WNBA Finals, and news has broke that you can get into the game for tickets as low as $10. Yeah, no. Your speakers on your laptop or your phone are working perfectly fine. You heard me loud and clear. You can get into Game 3 of the WNBA Finals for $10. This is craziness. It costs more than an In-N-Out cheeseburger with an animal fry and a small lemonade. This is wild. The WNBA is being accused of posting fake ratings for Game 1. This is madness, y'all.
You could literally grab a finals ticket for $25, maybe even $6 if you didn't mind the upper level. Parking at some concerts costs more than that. Caitlin Clark's Nike t-shirt costs more than that. It's almost unbelievable. The same league that flooded headlines with record attendance and unprecedented fan engagement is now facing its lowest turnout in years. And Asia Wilson's response? She's frustrated, embarrassed, and apparently blaming Clark and her fan base for the lack of energy. But that's where this story gets twisted, because the people Wilson is pointing fingers at are the same ones who built the WNBA's most successful season in history. When Caitlin Clark stepped onto the court, everything changed. Ticket sales skyrocketed. Merch sold out overnight. Opposing teams suddenly had sold-out arenas for the first time in years. ESPN couldn't get enough of her. The WNBA was finally in the national conversation. And yet, instead of embracing her, the league and many players acted like she was an outsider, an invader in their territory. The jealousy, the fouls, the constant digs on social media, and the commissioner's silence through it all. Fans noticed. They felt it. So now that the finals have arrived and Clark's not there, the energy's gone, the excitement's gone, the seats are empty, and the fans who once filled arenas have tuned out completely. That's not on Caitlin Clark. That's on the league that refused to protect and celebrate its biggest star. Even the broadcast can't hide it. You can see rows of empty seats behind the commentators. You can hear the awkward silence between plays. The finals feel less like a championship showdown and more like a scrimmage at a high school gym. And for a league that spent all season screaming about growth, that's a brutal reality check. It's not like the numbers are hiding. Earlier this year, when Clark's Indiana Fever played the Aces, those exact same seats went for hundreds, even thousands of dollars courtside. Now, in the finals, those same spots are going for under $500, and even then, they're struggling to sell. Fans on social media are roasting the league, posting screenshots of ticket maps covered in empty blue dots.
This was posted here on Legion Hoops. You can watch Game 3 of the WNBA Finals for just $10 tonight. That's cheaper than ESPN's subscription to stream the game at home. You could spend more. You spend more money streaming the game at home than you do going and actually seeing it in person. This is wild. This is wild.
One viral comment said, "You can buy a finals ticket for the price of a Big Mac combo." Another joked, "The silence in the arena is louder than the ref's whistle." It's comedy, but it's also tragedy, because deep down, everyone knows why it's happening. The so-called growth of the WNBA wasn't organic. It wasn't because of new marketing or better storytelling. It was the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. She was the reason casual fans tuned in, the reason sponsors cared, and the reason the league mattered again. She brought the spark that every sport needs, a generational star with crossover appeal. And instead of protecting her, the league treated her like a problem to contain. And that's the real reason this finals feels so lifeless. It's not about Vegas fans or ticket prices. It's about a league that alienated the very audience that made it relevant. You can't spend months mocking Clark's supporters and then expect them to show up for a finals she's not even playing in. Fans don't forget. They saw her get targeted game after game. They saw her get knocked down with no foul calls. They saw veteran players mock her competitiveness instead of respecting it. Meanwhile, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert is still out here smiling through press conferences, claiming this is the strongest position the league's ever been in. Really? Because if that's true, why does it cost less to watch your championship than it does to bowl 3 games at the MGM Grand? The optics are humiliating. Even players are starting to speak up. Names like Sophie Cunningham and Nafisa Collier have hinted at the disconnect between the locker room and leadership. The system is broken, and Asia Wilson's meltdown isn't just a personal moment of frustration. It's the symptom of something much deeper, a league that refuses to face its own failures. The WNBA thought the Caitlin Clark wave would last forever. They thought her momentum would carry through the postseason, even without her. But fans don't stick around for hype. They stick around for connection. And the league severed that connection the moment it decided Clark was too polarizing, too privileged, or too different to represent them. Now, they're paying for it. And that brings us back to Wilson. She's the reigning MVP, one of the most dominant players in the world, but her finals are being overshadowed by a crisis her own league created. Instead of celebrating her team's wins, she's defending a product that's collapsing under its own spin. Fans don't care about press releases. They care about authenticity. And right now, the only thing that feels real is Caitlin Clark, even when she's not playing. So here's the brutal truth. The WNBA built its season on Clark's back, then pushed her to the sidelines. Now the whole thing is falling apart. You can't demand bigger TV deals and higher salaries when your finals look like a clearance sale. You can't brag about growth when fans are staying home. What's happening right now isn't just bad optics, it's a warning. Fans came for Caitlin Clark, not for corporate slogans. They came for energy, not excuses. They came for passion, not politics. And until the WNBA starts listening, this so-called new era is going to collapse faster than those ticket prices. The finals were supposed to be the league's moment to shine, proof that women's basketball had arrived. Instead, it's proof of how fragile that success really is. The excitement, the noise, the movement, all of it depended on one player. And now that she's gone, the lights are dimming. So maybe A'ja Wilson should stop blaming Caitlin Clark and start asking what happens to the WNBA when she's the only one left to blame. If you're still watching, drop Team Clark in the comments. About to get messy.